Hi, I'm Laurie Dobson. This is Tum Tum, November 21st, 2020 in the island Great Cranberry. This is an island update, also an update on my own local job. I'm an EMT, certified Maine EMT, and have been full status with Cranberry Isles Rescue Service and got expelled in a letter describing the fact that I had somehow violated a media policy by speaking out about my concerns about COVID and the practices, the protocols, speaking just as myself and not referencing that I was speaking with any authority outside of that. But I was told that I was expelled and had to return the radio, had to take back anything that says CIRS on it because I guess my involvement is no longer wanted, even though the town spent a lot of money and I spent half a year of my life, 3/4 of a year, getting myself up to snuff and certified so I could be a service to the town. And everybody was happy about that. So the unhappiness came from my being outspoken. I did a video called Why I Refuse the Mask, and I spent a lot of time explaining that while I don't believe that the way it's being run is proper, and I looked into some of the questions people had and wanted to learn why doctors would oppose the mask when, like everybody else, listening to Governor Cuomo in the early days and feeling, reassured by him, and everybody was sort of I think collectively freaking out and not knowing what was what in our homes, that whole thing. And then I put out something to the selectmen asking if they could stay, really on top of it right from the beginning and help communicate to everybody so we know what was going on and getting the latest on that. And I didn't really find that was happening too much. So trying to do my own research, I really did find out that there were issues with this thing that go way back. It's not just back into places that we're not encouraged to look at. We're supposed to just kind of accept everything as it comes up. I've never, I've got a journalistic background, and I think that, you're supposed to, as a journalist, question, and you're not supposed to do things to be liked or, to get in with certain crowds or people that have influencers, the influencers. You're supposed to stay apart from that and have an independent eye and voice and view, and that's what your value is. That's why people can trust you, because you're not going to line up with special interests or powered interests of any kind, whether they're, authority figures in your government or in your locality, your local people that want to, I'm on the town planning board. Same thing. I'm trying to, stay neutral. And it's not easy on a small island. And then we're dealing with another island that we're part of. It's actually 5 islands together. And it gets kind of strange, people's expectations, of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a member of these committees and do your job, your best job, but you're not supposed to have your own mind about it. And yet you're supposed to be your own person. And, it's I'm a Mainer who has a, strong history of independence and, coming from, that's sort of a Yankee thing. Thinking for yourself, not just letting people just make your own decisions for you. And I've also run for office being independent minded has come to me also that way. So it isn't an easy thing to come to an island and then be told, just shut up, don't say anything, just go along, get along. I've never lived that way. Why would I live that way here? But I do recognize the need to get along and be friendly and to be somebody that's, an honest, an honest person and worth having as a friend. Somebody that has some value, isn't just going to say anything just because it's convenient. Or gives me a leg up. I'm not going to come in here and just try to just climb some social ladder and, climb over people. And, I've seen people do that, but it's not healthy to just be here to be an opportunist, just to make the use of the island and what it can do for you, and just, play the game and the dance that gets you ahead. It's kind of sort of an ignoble thing to do. So I come here with my own moral code, and it's come up against a few other things, but I have some friends as well that like this in me, and are other people that are happy to see that, even though maybe they disagree with me on political views or whatever, but they see that I'm not afraid to say what I think, and to recognize if I'm wrong. There have been times I've been off base. So the first time I ran into trouble with the EMT service here was because there was early on here that we had this big scare that we were going to get overrun with people coming down with it, and we didn't know. So I put out this letter to the selectmen, and they didn't really act too quickly on it. Kind of took them a while to kick it into touch, to say anything. And now they're they're following the guidelines and the governors and that sort of thing. But there's been a whole lot of other people feeling that there's more to this story, that we're not hearing it. We're just hearing the part where we're expected to go along with the official line. It wouldn't be American to me to just say, okay, yeah, whatever you say, government. We have all our founding fathers saying, don't do that. Don't let the banks get in control. Don't let moneyed interests run you. Don't lose your security. Don't go after security or you'll lose your freedom. All that stuff. And I just don't think it's patriotic of us to just sort of not investigate things. It's not patriotic. We should trust but verify, right? Like Reagan said, you just, not that I'm supporting Reagan, but you don't just take something at face value. You've got to look into it, even if it's the CDC saying it. And if we're going to take the CDC's word for things, then take all of it. Like there's some question now that they're saying against lockdowns and against schools closing. They're all saying they don't recommend it, and yet it's happening. Things are closing, things are locking down, this and that. Even though kids have such a low rate of transmission, we're shutting everything down. Where kids get together at night, we're going to close that down. Grandma's not hanging out at the bar at 9 o'clock, most likely, especially if she's worried about her health, for crying out loud. So I spoke up, and on my video, a couple of videos. Now I'm letting everybody know that I got a letter because that happened. That I just said I don't think that we're, we need to focus for the health of our island, for the health of our people. We need to focus on some of the concerns that are out there as well. What are these other issues? Not just the virus itself, but what wearing masks, what that does to our overall health and our mental health, which is a huge thing that's being ignored in our children and in our old people and everyone. People that have to go to work to support these endless wars, and then nothing seems to be changing. A lot of people tried to change the system and they keep failing because the power is just, there's so much money, inequality now that people aren't getting their needs met at all. Healthcare, stimulus, it's just, everything seems to be folding along the sides of whatever the powerful people want, the powerful people are going to get. Now we're talking about the stupid Great Reset. And you'll just hear more and more and more that the people who are going to pay are the ones who are already paying the cost for these things. And I just kind of, when I see this sort of thing happening, I just say that, that's just not right. It's just not right. We have to start. Oh, here comes the other dog. This is Mimsy. Okay, say hi. Say hello. Hello, this is Mimsy. Oh, yeah. Yes, it's okay. Yes, hello. Hello, yes, hello. So, as things stand now, I have gotten this letter, but I noticed nothing mentioned in this selectmen's meeting about it. no follow-up on it. So I don't know if it's official or not. Can it really be official if it doesn't get flown by the selectmen? Does everything that the director say just automatically happen? Is she getting the kinds of powers that a dictator could only dream of in a small island where you can run the whole show? It's rather breathtaking, and I kind of find it strange and ludicrous that people are just so happy to sign off all their rights to somebody who doesn't have their interests at heart. I don't believe the directors really got the interests of this island at heart. And for case in point, we have a suspected COVID infection on our island. If you look at our zip code, it's between 1 and 5 people on our island. I know about it from a couple of different sources, and putting the pieces together, I understand who the situation, what it's about, and it looks to me as though my being expelled, as it was written in the letter from this director, from the service, is coming at a really bad time, because I'm the only person that's here 24/7 on this island. And if anything happened, we'd really be in trouble. I could say more about why I think that's the case. I could point to the facts of the matter, but I'm trying to respect the situation as it is, because I'm hoping the island will come out and be a little bit more forthcoming about what our situation is, and letting people know. When you have an island as small as ours, and she's on the other island, but on our island, if we have somebody that's here that's got the infection, and who knows, who they've been in touch with, and you try to trace it, well, nobody's tracing it. So I called the CDC. I said, okay, I hear about this, but where's the follow-up? What are you doing? And they said, well, when a case has been identified, then there's contact tracing initiates. However, they said it might take a while. And I said, well, the whole point of having contact tracing is to get it done right away. So if they're taking their time, and he said that the guy at CDC said they're training more people, but now it's only if actual symptoms, are shown and the case is there, but they're showing it. I mean, it is apparently there are symptoms, but there's no contact tracing being initiated. So, but measures are being taken. Direct involvement by some people has resulted in some quarantining. But wouldn't it be better if the public health people on our island, or the rescue director, who is supposed to be in charge of testing now, and who knows, maybe she's supposed to be doing tracing, but I've known about this for 4 days, and there's nothing happening. Nobody's being told anything. And if I was directly in contact, and I may have been with the person, or their, the people in touch with them, wouldn't it make sense? Yeah. What do you think, Mimsy? Wouldn't it make sense for them to, if the public's interest was the main issue, to be telling us this is happening? Yet another thing I question, but as a member of the service, being an active member of the service means I can't talk about public interest, things that affect the public, as much as this does. Why? Who am I protecting? I feel that my duty is to be an EMT and serve, as main EMT. That title doesn't go away if the service thinks that I'm speaking out of turn or something, or saying things that they're not willing to say. And why not? If we're really going after this, as we say we are, we're not going to necessarily just wear little masks or mufflers that sort of, keep us safe inside buildings or in the ferry or whatever. We're going to trace it. We're going to find it. We're going to put people into sideline them from other contact with other people, understanding what that requires, and at least letting people know what's going on. And so not seeing any of this on the island, seeing that if there was an actual emergency out here, my hands would be tied. I might as well be behind my back, because I've been told I'm expelled because I spoke out on Facebook saying, I think that the whole way this protocol is happening is, first of all, it's a day late and $1 short. And now when we have a chance to act on things we know will matter, we don't. Can we find out the real situation, or do we just have to put our children, all of our children, you know, our school has 3 kids, 2 of which are in the same family. Do we just put them all in masks all day long because that's supposed to be safe? You know, when school gets out and they go in the playground and, you know, of course they're all running around, so the masks come off. They're all, you know, they're all connected to each other at this point. There's a natural immunity with kids that happens so quickly because of the nature of the exposure. But we're not talking truthfully about this. We're just talking about political policies and looking like you're virtue signaling to other people. So if you have a mask on, you're okay. If you don't have a mask on, you're the enemy. You're an anti-masker. How quickly we changed from, and you know, peaceful protesting to, you know, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, anti-masker, anti-Trump, anti. You know, I've run as a Democrat for like, you know, 5 separate races, 1 national and 2 state races, and I've met and talked to a lot of people. I know that I know that people want discussion. They want to be able to have what they have to say matter. They don't want to have people clamping down on them. Anybody with a tiny bit of power, you know, instantly becoming an oppressive person, oppressing others, silencing others, telling them when they can speak, when they can't speak. You know, I have proof that this is such a subjective decision to create this media policy after the fact, to try to say something, and it really doesn't say anything except, I want the power to get you off my service if you're saying things I don't like. And that's just controlling people's ability to be human, to have free speech. It's a wrong thing to do. So I'm going to continue to oppose that. You know, I have to stay true to some of my my background as a journalist, and that means that I have to speak truth to power, say things that are uncomfortable. You know, if I believe that they're real, and not to just become a person who is ruled by fear. There's not enough power in the world that can push me into being somebody I'm not, unless I choose it, and I don't choose that. So we need more people that can stand up to power wherever it tends to try to push them around. That's my strong advocacy for people. Make your own mind up. Know what it is that you want to believe. Refuse to believe anything else. But, you know, be open to change. Be open to the truth as you can see it, as you can find it, as you can discover it. And, you know, you can always add in, this is what I believe today. This is what I understand today. Tomorrow it may be different. But right now what it looks like is a whole lot of people messing with their authority. And it's funky, and it should be called out. All right, that's it. Thank you. Bye.